She embodies the true spirit of a Singaporean, never say die.
Honestly, you should just make a film about crazy poor Asians.
I want to say like rich people problems.
The girls were gorgeous, they were incredible.
Dude, Ashton is hot.
Hi, this is Jenny Yap from She&Jo Media, and this is Ask Singapore. Singapore is an island city-state in Southeast Asia. Despite only having an area of 724 kilometers squared, the country has a population of over 5.8 million, the second highest population density in the world, and it ranks 4th richest country in GDP per capita. Before the pandemic hit in 2020, the country had reached 19.11 million tourists annually. However, Singapore was not well known to many Western countries until the film Crazy Rich Asians hit the cinemas in 2018. The romantic comedy set in Singapore with a gross box office of 238.5 million USD was highly praised in the United States for featuring a predominantly Asian cast. But what do local Singaporeans think of Crazy Rich Asians? Let's find out. Do you like Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting movie.
Not at first, but after repeated watches, yes, I do. Yeah, I think it's quite a good show.
I like the movie Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes, of course I do like it.
What do you like or dislike about Crazy Rich Asians?
I feel it's a breath of fresh air. It's something different. You don't usually see this kind of films in Singapore, you know?
One would be the glamour, so the beautiful interior of the houses. I really enjoyed seeing that combination of, I guess, this different cultures. That's the second thing. The third thing was really, I think, to bring to mind of some of our local customs, like the food. That was one thing that was, I was like, yeah, that's me, you know. Thanks for putting Singapore on the map.
I like seeing the vibrancy of the movie, and the love story is very engaging as well.
We don't really hear a lot of Singaporean accents. When a film is like described to be like, oh, it's going to be set in Singapore, it takes place in Singapore, people kind of expect the show to reflect a bit more of the culture here.
It was really nice to watch. It was really refreshing to see Singapore inside.
Do you think Rachel Chu is a likable character?
Yeah, I think she's a well-rounded character.
I liked her, but now like thinking about her character, it just seems like she's having this fairy tale story or fairy tale ending to her life, which makes her less relatable, I think. Like we see her struggles, but like her struggles are kind of, I don't know, I want to say like rich people problems.
Yes, obviously. She embodies the true spirit of a Singaporean, never say die.
Who do you think are the hottest characters?
Oh, the most handsome is Harry Crowley. He's so hot. He's super handsome.
Beautiful name for a beautiful lady. Astrid, what can I say?
Astrid.
Rachel Chu.
You probably think Astrid, but...
Dude, Ashton is hot.
Astrid, yeah, she's super pretty. But I think she looks a little bit too perfect. She looks a bit like robotic, but I mean, in a good way.
Nick Young would be the hottest male character.
Her personality is just on point. Anything you can look for in a woman, Rachel Chu embodies that.
I think Ashton and her husband were the hottest in terms of physical looks.
Do you think Singapore is a good tourist site?
I have a couple of expat friends in Singapore, and most of them actually come to Singapore to work, firstly for their career, but secondly also because they can travel to the various archipelagos around. So like Bali, Philippines, they can go to Malaysia as well. So it's kind of a hub of wealth, right? So it's that safe haven from which you can go to these other destinations.
First, I think Singapore is not the greatest tourist site. I mean,
Yeah.
I always get surprised when my overseas friends say that they like coming to Singapore to visit.
We do have some iconic structures over here, but I wouldn't say it's a great tourist site. But I mean, from a non-Singaporean perspective, maybe they think it's great.
Take it for granted that having a boat on the top of a building is pretty exciting.
Every penny and dollar that you spend coming here will be worth it. For those guys who haven't come to Singapore, probably think that Singapore is just bricks and boxes of houses. Like, you are wrong. Like, Singapore is a very vibrant country, multiracial, multi-ethnical, and also the food here is tasty and delicious.
What do you relate most to in the film?
I related most to feeling pressures from our seniors. By seniors, I mean like the older generation. Parents are often trying to shape how their children's lives go, and that still happens till today. Not as much as our parents' generation, but I think a lot of us still feel it to an extent.
Especially in Chinese culture, like we always feel the need to like carry on like traditions and to of course like carry like your family's name. For a Caucasian aspect, like they can do whatever they want. They have more freedom, and I feel like in Singapore we are more constrained by like the pressures of like family and everything. Of course, not so extreme like in the show, but definitely do relate to it a little bit.
The different type of tradition that's being portrayed by the Chinese families. For me, as I'm Malay, so we have a different set of taboo and tradition also. When faced in this kind of situation, from a perspective for younger generation, for sure there will be some sort of expectation or pressure that's being bestowed upon us to actually maintain the tradition of the family. But then it's also up to us as an individual to choose what we want to maintain and uphold, and also what we want to change.
The scenes with the mahjong, it talks about how through mahjong you can tell about a person's character, and I feel that's very true.
Who do you relate most to in the film?
I don't know. I don't think I really relate to any of them. Maybe Rachel's mom, because she's like, I think the only non-rich person in the show.
The most variable would have to be Rachel, just because she was the most normal. She was the only one that didn't come from a high-income class family, aside from the aunties.
I can relate most to Rachel Chu because of her upbringing and also where she's from. She's from the working class, so I'm from the working class.
Michelle Yeoh's character, the mom actually, because she has to balance that sense of duty, family, and she has a very strong point of view. She understands the culture and the environment, so I respond most to her character.
I related with security guards on a whole different level. Honestly, you should just make a film about crazy poor Asians.
First thought that comes to your mind about Ang Mohs in Singapore?
They're more carefree.
Some of them are very good at eating chili padi, some of them are not.
They are perfect. Nah, kidding. They are more like a breath of fresh air for us. Different way of thinking. Down to earth, most of them, if they feel like they don't like something, they will just tell you straight up. Versus our locals, like they don't like it. They don't like something about you, they'll beat around the bush, they tell their friends. They won't talk to you direct about it, And I'm more like probably, hey, what's this? I don't like this, let's say straight up.
They get more freedom in what they do. We like to save money for the future. We always worry about what happened next. But for foreigners, I feel like they just live in the moment. So I think we could adopt a little bit of that.
The first thing that comes to mind is that they're usually better off than the Singaporeans. Mostly because they come here on expat package. So the housing's provided, they usually get a higher paycheck. The thing I envy most is that they tend to have better work-life balance. They know their priorities, they know how to get the work done without sucking up too much, so they still get the job done and get even more pay than us.
Well, I have many Ang Moh friends and many foreign friends. They do contribute to the country in many ways, be it economically, socially. So yeah, Singapore has always been a country of immigrants. So I feel that having foreigners in Singapore is great because it's a global city.
Would you like more movies or TV series made in Singapore for the international audience?
A lot of people are not very educated on where Singapore is actually. So I think it would be great for more like Singapore movies for the international crowd.
Although we're a very small country, we have grown enough that I think it's important that people at least know where this country is and to know a bit more about it. It helped a lot that we had Jewel at Changi Airport, so it became known as the place with the indoor waterfall.
I don't see why not, especially if it brings revenue in for some local talent. I think if more films had Singapore as a destination or as something that's integral to the plot line, then yeah, I think that'll be great.
Yes, of course, it'll be also a perfect opportunity to showcase what our country is all about.
Yes, I definitely want to see more content about Singapore made for the international audience because I'm a Singaporean and I'm proud to see Singapore featured on the big screen on the international stage. So definitely, any chance people get, please do make more movies about and more TV shows and more content about Singapore.
I realize a lot of films in Singapore are made for Singaporeans. And those are incredible, right? Because it's that local delish and that's wonderful. But I think having it catered to an international audience Singapore's already been on the map, right? But it would further, I think, our entertainment presence in the world. So yes, big yes to that.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that video and had a sneak peek into Singaporeans' minds. If you like what you just saw, please make sure you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. If you want to know more about Singapore, ask Singapore. We'll try our best to find the answers for you. Feel free to comment down below with your questions, and we hope to see you again soon.